And we are live. We are live with day 16 of Learn Blender during the coronavirus lockdown. Hope everybody is doing pretty well. But with that, let us get started. Deciding if I want to change up the music a little bit, because I do like Manny Wells, but I don't want to get a copyright claim. So I don't know. I really don't. I really don't. Oh well. Do-do-do-do. Obviously, we'll have to wait for ads and stuff. But with that, let me open up Blender, and we are going to go till 10 today. So we will see. How much we could get through this. Pose mode. I think I'll go up my Live for the Funk. Okay, here we go. We're rocking. We're rocking.
Hello everybody and welcome back. In this lecture we are going to focus on pose mode, where we can grab our bones that we've created and move them. In turn, our model will move as well, which is really cool. And obviously we've got a few issues with it passing through itself, but we'll cover those later on. Let's go find out more about pose mode. Okay, so we left off here earlier and we've got everything parented, or do we? So let's just have a quick look at everything. I'm going to make the outliner a little bit smaller for the moment so we can see our properties window a little bit better. Once we're in there, I'm going to select my armature, that's important, and then up the top here we can switch from object mode, not to edit mode, like we were doing before, when we were adding more bones and changing them around. I'm going to go to pose mode. And we can grab this top one here, or the bottom one, notice they're highlighted blue. If you've got more than one selected, take note of the different colours. Just like with objects when I'm going to make the outliner a little bit smaller for the moment so we can see our properties window a little bit better. Once we're in there, I'm going to select my armature, that's important, and then up the top here we can switch from object mode, not to edit mode, like we were doing before, when we were adding more bones and changing them around. I'm going to go to pose mode. And we can grab this top one here, or the bottom one, notice they're highlighted blue. If you've got more than one selected, take note of the different colours. Just like with objects when we're selecting them, the lightest colour is the active selected. So if we select this one here and rotate it, we see our model moves around as we'd expect it to. Brilliant. We grab this one at the top here. Something went wrong with the parenting. So we're going to make sure this is the bone selected. We're going to come back out into object mode. So the model moves around as we'd expect. It's like with objects when we're selecting them, the lightest colour is the active selected. So if we select this one here and rotate it, we see our model moves around as we'd expect it to. Brilliant. We grab this one at the top here. Something went wrong with the parenting. So we're going to make sure this is the bone selected. We're going to come back out into object mode, select our object, select our bones again, go Control and P one here and rotate it. We see our model moves around as we'd expect it to. Brilliant. We grab this one at the top here. Something went wrong with the parenting. So we're going to make sure this is the bone selected. We're going to come back out into object mode, select our object, select our bones again, go Control and P, parent it to the bone, go to pose mode, and select our object. Select our bones again, go Control and P, parent it. To the bone, go to pose mode, and now does it move? It does indeed. Causes the mirror modifier to play a bit funky, which perhaps means that our empty is not parented to the right place. So making sure that's selected again, I'm going to go out into object mode. I'm going to select the empty, select the armature, and empty is not parented to the right place. So making sure that's selected again, I'm going to go out into object mode. I'm going to select the empty, select the armature, and parent it. That will clear the previous parent if there was one there. And then when we go to pose mode, when we move things around, because the mirror is following the bone, we don't have any funky distortion happening with it. There we go. So now we've got an appropriate hierarchy of parenting, and we've set up the pose mode. Isn't this exciting? We're starting to actually get our model moving and becoming alive. Now, the great thing about pose mode is it does allow you to move your model around, position it in funny angles, and of course this doesn't really work at the moment because we've got geometry going inside one another, and we'll need to sort out some sort of constraints to stop that from happening. But the other thing that this is allowing us to do is put things into funky places. Now, the downside of that is, how do you return everything to normal? Well, I've mentioned this in the past, but it's a great time at the moment to start playing around with posing. If you want to reset things, there's one very easy way of doing it. Now, at the moment, all we've done is rotated things, so what we can do is highlight our entire armature whilst in pose mode and go Alt and R. That will undo any rotations that we've done. If we've done some scaling, which you can also do in pose mode, we can use Alt and S. And if you've moved your model around and want to reset it, you've guessed it, Alt and G, and it will go back to where it was before. So that's a great way of resetting what you've been working on to its standard form. Now, you can, of course, change what's known as your rest position. So let's have a look at that. Let's go over to our armature, and we'll see at the very top here, we've got pose position and rest position. So if we move our armature here, just rotate it down, if we click rest position, it will go back to how it was before we did anything else. And that's really, really useful. However, if you've not realized that you've got rest position turned on and you try and do anything, you just get errors popping up, which is useful. You cannot change pose whilst rest position is enabled. So rest position, it does vary from model to model. I'm going to have my rest position look roughly like this, but with the rest of the lamp, how we've drawn it so far. However, In a character, you might have them in a T or an A pose. A T pose is simply where they're stood upright with their arms stretched out so they look like a giant T. And an A is very similar, just their arms are down at about 45 degrees. So your rest position is really important, and we can go back to our pose position, there we go, just by selecting and moving. Now you may be wondering, well, perhaps my model isn't in its rest position at the moment, how do I get it there? Well, what we can do, much like applying transforms, is we can apply positions. So if we go ahead and let's say rotate this by a known number, I'm going to do 45 so I can put it back again. If that was going to be my rest position of the lower arm, what I could then do is either go up to pose and go to apply, control and A, apply the pose as the rest pose. We could go control and A, bring up the same menu, or if you like searching, we can search for pose, and here we go, apply pose as rest pose. Now when we do that, whenever we go back to our rest pose, there we go, it's there, and we can move our model any which way we want, like so, and we can always go back to the rest pose whenever we need to. However, that's not what we wanted, so in order to get ourselves back again, we can apply it the other way as well. So what we can do, just to check pose positions all awkward, rest positions over here, we can go ahead and go control and A, apply visual transform to the pose, and then we go back to the pose position. Oops, what's happened there? Well, we didn't have anything highlighted, so let's try that again. Control and A, apply visual transform to pose, and then when we go back to pose position, we're back where we were before. Finally, because I want to alter this all around again, I'm going to go rotate by 45. Wrong way, so I'm going to go minus on that and press enter, and then finally go control and A and apply the pose as the rest position. Okay, so that's it for this lecture. We've covered pose mode, switching into it, making sure that we have got things that we think were parented, correctly parented. There we go, that's all sorted now. And we've also gone through pose position and rest position. And you're going to find that very useful as we move forward, as it's going to become very useful when we start adding in our animation. So that's it for this lecture, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Fred Meyer is now hiring, with immediate openings available to help keep our stores open and stocked. Apply today at jobs.fredmeyer.com.
Cross mountain ranges, split cells, command the tools of tomorrow. We are a team of 1 million unique and powerful individuals. Join forces with us, and you can take on anything. What's your role? Find out at GoArmy.com.
Come on, why the heck is it going super slow? Can't be having this, dude. Come on now, this should not be that difficult. Come on. What the heck? This does not look like it's going to be working for me right now. Maybe if I turn that off. Let's close my browser and open it up again. Let's try it again. Finally, thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this.
Seriously? Seriously? Seriously, dude?
lecture where we're going to learn about constraints. That's why our bones have gone green. If we go ahead here and grab...
It's like, what in the world is going on right now? Supposed to be connected to 5G. Supposed to be. Supposed to be. But like, what the heck?
The top arm, we can see that it's constrained. It won't go any further than the top here. If we drag it down, it won't go any further.
Facebook is tripping. It's just like, come on now.
Other than that, even if we try. And even better, if we highlight the bottom one and try and rotate that round.
Okay. So all this stuff is just causing me strife right now. All of it causing me strife. Okay, well, it doesn't look like it's going to be working for me right now. It's a little unfortunate. Hopefully it will start picking up pretty soon, but I'm not going to play around with it. I'll probably have to reset my modem and reset my computer pretty quickly. And so, thanks for hanging out with me right now, but I will get back to y'all.